Well, Matt, first off, just impressions of the tire test and what you've maybe gathered in terms of data from Goodyear and also from Darlington.
Yeah, I mean, Goodyear kind of, you just give them your feedback and run their tires, and they kind of figure it out from there. As far as team stuff, we're just, they're looking through data, and plus we're trying to find a car balance, and we're trying to find speed, and just looking at all those same things you do when you test.
Having run here as often as you have in the past, do you take your experiences from years past and apply them to the new tire test, or is it just an entirely different run altogether?
No, I mean, certainly you apply the experience you have, with the racetrack and, how to get around it and do things like that. But every day's a new day. The rules change a lot, the cars change a lot, so you have to adapt.
How excited are you about getting back in the race car and having an opportunity to run with Roush Fenway this year?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, we haven't quite had the results that I was hoping to have early on, but, we have been, I feel like, moving forward slowly but surely, so hopefully we can continue that.
You talked earlier to the television folks about Kenseth was just a nightmare for you, and you're slowly getting better. Where are you seeing maybe the most improvement right now?
Oh man, it's just a lot of little things. Like every day, we're just trying to do little things a little bit better, and a lot of that, starts with me or includes me too. So, just a bunch of little things. I can't really tell you one thing or two things or three things. It's just trying to do all the little things better and make sure we got everything buttoned up.
Golfers like to say it's not an easy sport to drop and then pick back up later on. How about NASCAR racing? How difficult is it to assimilate it back in after you've been off for a few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it's a team sport. I really don't think that being off for a few months has really necessarily hurt my driving, although after a couple weeks you're certainly a little more comfortable. But I think the biggest thing with that, honestly, is not just driving the race car, but just getting used to a new team. New team, crew chief, engineers, way they do things, things they do or don't do that where you're at before. Just trying to get used to all that and get all that up to speed is by far the biggest part.
During your time away, did you get a chance to maybe look outside the box at NASCAR and look at some of the issues that people talk about with the sport and draw some conclusions and some opinions of your own about what's going on in your profession?
Well, that was a pretty vague question with just what's going on, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I watched some races. I can't say I'd be lying if I told you I watched them all or watched all of them in entirety or any of that stuff, but paid a little bit of attention, probably more attention once I knew I was going to come back and do this. But other than that, I really didn't, I'd say, necessarily watch every week. We had a lot going on. We're having a lot of fun with the family and spent some time doing other things.
A lot of people are, especially people who follow the sport, are writing sort of its death notice because of declining this, declining that, the competition, only 2 or 3 drivers winning on a regular basis. Do you see it that way?
Well, I will tell you one thing that I've learned being a sports fan in general, and even reading the news, is over 90% of it is negative. It's like when you read a review on the internet or you want to read, and I don't know when that changed. If it's the social media age, if it's the digital age, I don't know when it is. When I started racing, they had I think they called it the Winston Cup scene at the time you picked it up. You didn't have negative articles in there. It talked about the racing and like what happened. It reported news as fact and what went on and all that stuff. And that's been a drastic change the last 10 or 15 years. And I really don't know why. You can have the best race in the world, and somebody will pick out something to write. The one thing they can think that's negative to go with it, and it's just kind of. Unfortunately, kind of the way it is. Kind of the way it is with the news in the world right now as well. It's hard to find positive, feel-good stories, that's for sure. So I think there's a lot of great things about NASCAR racing. Certainly, it's changed through the years, and it's different. There's been a lot of format changes. There's been a lot of change, obviously, but there's a lot of good about it too.
Are you still optimistic about the future?
For me?
Well, of the sport.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't say I spent a lot of time thinking about that, to be honest with you. So I don't obviously work for NASCAR and control any of that. So I don't know that my opinions on really any of the stuff really matter. But I've watched some of the races I did watch were really good races this year, really entertaining. Bristol was an awesome race. I mean, there was a bunch of them that were great races. So I know there's constant talk and chatter about restrictor plates and rules packages and closer racing and this and that and other thing, but the racing has been pretty good. Like the few that I watched, I thought the racing was really good, and so I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what everybody wants.